The Volunteers facing a 3rd and 8 as we get set to play the second quarter at UTA's Maverick Stadium. Line of scrimmage, the Sam Houston 42. Well, Bowie has lost 8 in a row, which dates back to last year. A 20-18 win over Sam Houston. As you see the Texans, last time Bowie put one in the W column. You see the Bowie Bells and the Texans and both bands at intermission.
Texans ended a drought last week against Arlington High against inter-city rivals.
Snapped that winless streak against Arlington teams. 3rd and 8 for the Volunteers. Mattner drops back, looking. Here's the rush, throws, and Musgrove was the closest to the ball, but Mattner had to worry about Frank Rogers, number 90. And it'll bring up 4th down. And here comes the punt team. Volunteers next week will travel to Duncanville, and the Texans will entertain the Tigers of Mansfield. Aaron Wall on one hop. Inside the 10, goes straight up and is touched at the 10-yard line downfield by Brandon Hurst, number 49.
He's got that soft kick down. That hit and just plugged like a 9-iron shot with a little backspin.
A 32-yard punt. Aaron Wall leading the district in punting, and an effective punt on that occasion.
Yeah, it pins the Texans back in deep in their own territory for their 2nd consecutive start.
Again, Sam in district play 1 and 2. Their losses to Lamar and DeSoto. Wishbone lineup. Hassel. Martinez up the gut, 20, 30. It's a foot race midfield. Martinez 30, and finally dragged down inside the 20-yard line. Jared Gaspard finally catching up with Alex Martinez, and a huge opening as he steps off 74 yards.
Well, John, the danger when you're trying to stop the wishbone is you stack your linebackers close to the line of scrimmage, and once you get through that defense, it's usually a foot race, and it was this time. And fortunately for the Volunteers, Jared Gaspard had the angle and made the stop.
He got through so quick it froze the defensive backs for Bowie. All the way down to the 16-yard line. And nothing but runs from here on. It's 4-down territory for Sam Houston. Wishbone. Hassel gives to Sherdania Mitchell. 10 inside the 6, and 1st and goal, Sam Houston. Mitchell to the 5-yard line, Jim, as we go back and look at the 74-yard jaunt of Alex Martinez, and what a huge opening.
Sure was. Nice blocking up front by the offensive line, and there's no one there. No blue jerseys. Now you finally see Jared Gaspard coming into the picture, and he has the angle and hauls down Alex Martinez. Huge 74-yard run. 1st and goal,
Sam Houston from the Bowie 5. They lead 7-0. Hassel turns, tosses to Martinez, and Martinez angles to about the 3. In between the 2 and 3 yard line. Daniel Flood and number 16 in on the tackle for the Volunteers, Brandon Lawson. 7 carries and over 100 yards now for Alex Martinez. We saw the Texans in that game against Lamar week 4. 2nd and goal. Martinez into the pile, and did he break the plane? He did. Touchdown, Martinez.
And John, this Sam Houston offense having success running. They came in actually running the football for less yardage than they had passed it this year. But they're going back to their bread and butter wishbone and having an easy time thus far against this Volunteer defense.
One of the linemen hurt, Les Pate. The offensive guard hobbles off. So it's 13-0 Texans. What a schedule they have played this year. Marcus, they played MacArthur and Lamar in successive weeks. And Mark Sullivan's extra point, like the first one he had tonight, is good. And with 10:18 to go in the first half, it's 14-0.
Well, Sam Houston knows if they have any shot at making the playoffs, they virtually have to win out, run the table the next 4 games, and it's not going to be an easy chore for them to do with Mansfield, DeSoto coming up, and of course they have to take care of this Bowie team tonight, and thus far doing a pretty good job of that.
They don't want to have any close district games. Last year they lost 2 district games by 3 points. They did have a close shave with Arlington last week, winning by 5, but they've had their share of close district games down through the years, and of course that 3 overtime tie with DeSoto last year didn't help, 39-39. Texans last year finished 0-4-1 in district. The Texan scoring drive, how about a 90-yard, 4-play Texan scoring drive? That's their longest scoring drive, but they went 83 yards against Lamar, and they take it 90 tonight. So a 14-0 Sam Houston lead, and we'll see what kind of kickoff they execute. That's Hammonds kicking it off, number 94, Danny Hammonds. 2 yards deep, and Horton takes a knee. So the more conventional kick by Sam Houston.
Well, and I tend to agree with that a little more than the previous kick when they allowed Bowie to start on their own 40-yard line and have pushed them back another 20 yards, and the Sam Houston defense playing well. That's a game of field position.
Rushing yards to this point, the Texans with 146 and Bowie with 17. Here come the Volunteers. Jonathan Horton coming right and goes down behind the line of scrimmage. A 2-yard loss. He was slowed up first by Ricky Dunn. Andrew LeGrand, number 17 on the Volunteer bench. Second and about 12. Nathan DeVault, number 83, wide left. To the 25-yard line. Nice 7-yard pickup. Jeremy Fought, number 42.
Texans blitzing on the play, and quick handoff by Bowie.
It'll be 3rd and 5. Stapleton wide left. Fought and Horton the setbacks. 32-yard line and a first down. And a penalty marker drop. Jeremy Fought into the Mixmaster.
And again, the Texans defense trying to shoot their linebackers in the gaps, try to make contact with the ball carrier.
That was Ricky Dunn who lowered his head again. Dunn came into tonight's game with about 50 tackles on the year. And the penalty against the Volunteers.
Dunn, the Texan free safety.
Well, from where the holding violation occurred, they'll put it on the 20-yard line. That's where they started. 3rd and 10. Here's Fought again. And Fought jammed up at the 21.
Just no running room, John.
D. Drake and done again.
Texan defense strung it out to the near sideline, and no chance to turn the corner.
He's trying to run behind his guard, Edgar Jimenez. And the Texans plugged it up. 4th and 8. 8:04 to go in the first half. 14-0, Sam Houston on top. Wall pulls it down, not much of a rush. And a beautiful kick, fielded at the 32-yard line, dropped, and running out of bounds, Rod Taylor.
Well, Taylor doing the smart thing there after he mishandled it. He just collected it and ran out of bounds, not wanting to try to do anything that could force a turnover here and give Bowie good field position. And another great punt.
He says 46 yards on that last punt. And the line of scrimmage, the 27. Chris Ganaff out over the ball, number 77. And a little bit of head bobbing along the interior line. Procedure against Sam Houston.
Second one of the game against the Texans, and we talked about penalties. Sam Houston, one of the most penalized teams in the district consistently, averaged over 50 yards in penalty yardage this year.
B.K. Bird in, number 22. So it's 1st and 15. Bird wide right, one-on-one out there with Edwin Moore. Hassel going to put it up over the middle and deep, and running under it and dropping it is Mark Clayton.
Well, Brandon Hassel put it right where it needed to go after a tremendous play action fake. And you run that play over and over to set that up, John, and just what they wanted to do. Sam Houston couldn't hold on to it. Mark Clayton
had it and bobbled it. 2nd and 15. Otharua wide right. Shardanya Mitchell running right.
Never wrong.
And not much at all. Runs into Kettleman and number 16, Brandon Lawson. Virtually no gain at all. Time left, 7:30 in the first half. They have gained a yard. 3rd and 14 thereabouts. Now Martinez comes out, number 40. They'll send Bird to the short side with Rod Taylor. From the shotgun, Brandon Hassel. Throws it back, screen pass, Mitchell, and taken down at the 17-yard line by Danny Schwab. He held his ground, and a nice open field tackle. And Sam Houston will be forced to punt for the 3rd time in the first half.
It's a good idea. Look right, throw back to the left. Volunteers holding their ground, staying in their lane, and not allowing any yardage for the Texans.
Chris Cowan in punt formation. Stapleton gets away from it as it exits near the 40-yard line. A 43-yard punt by Chris Cowan, his 3rd of the night. The Texans on top, 14-0. And the Volunteers need to show a little offense. They need to keep their offense out on the field more than 3 plays a series. averaging just 68 yards of rushing and that same number of passing. Last in the district in offense.
That was one of the keys to the game, is move the offense, and they've not done it tonight so far.
Jeff Gaspard wide left. Running play fought into the grinder and fought out over the 45-yard line. Trey Whitlock and D. Drake on the tackle. Trey Whitlock, Sam Houston's homecoming king this year. Lee, Whitlock, and Drake have all been solid at the defensive ends and the tackle positions this year. Mattner looking over the middle, intended for the tight end, intercepted, picked off by Rod Taylor. Taylor the 40, the 30, cuts it back at the 15, and Taylor down to the 13-yard line.
John, once again, Kenny Mattner underthrowing the intended receiver that allowed Rod Taylor to get into the passing lane and pick it off and sail down the far sideline.
Taylor takes it back 42 yards. They tried to get it to the tight end, Ben Stevens, number 88.
A huge target, but the pass wobbles, and it was thrown a little bit behind.
From the 12-yard line, 1st and 10, Sam Houston. Alex Martinez, and shoulder down at the 11. Stevens stays on as he has for 2.5 years, plays both ways, makes the tackle. Mattner intercepted for the 10th time this year.
Only a junior, though.
And he'll be better next year, no question. B.K. Bird wide right. 2nd and 9. The toss to Mitchell. Sherdania to the 5 and takes it near a 1st down. And Kenny Mattner listening to the experience of the coaching staff. Texans on top, 14-0, 4:46 to go in the half. It was enough for a 1st down. 1st and goal, the Texans have 8 of those 1st downs. Will it be Taylor or Martinez? And maybe a half a yard. Alex Martinez on the carry. 2nd and goal.
Brandon Lawson, the leading tackler, with the stop, came in with 71 stops.
Again, Rule wide right will be no factor on this play. This window decoration on the wishbone. Here's Hassel, pulls it back, may have dropped the snap from center and plunges straight ahead.
Yeah, John, I think you're right. It was mishandled and looked to be it was a handoff to the fullback. But almost a turnover, but Brandon Hassel gets the handle on it and makes a yard or so on the play.
3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Now the tight end comes out. And Mark Clayton on, number 6. B.K. Bird also a receiver. 3rd and goal. On top, 14-0. Make it 20-0 as Martinez takes it over the left side.
Did not get in by much, got airborne and was met in midair.
Alex Martinez widens the lead, his 2nd touchdown of the night. His earlier effort from 2 yards out, this from a yard away. And Mark Sullivan trying to tack on his third extra points. Looks good from up here, and it's good from down there. So the Texans add to their total with 3:04 to go. In the first half, it's now 21-0 Sam.
In our town, we needed to do something about the runoff that polluted our rivers and streams. One thing we did was to plant trees in our yards and along the stream banks. Now the trees filter chemicals, hold the soil in place, and give wildlife a home. You can make a difference in your town, too. For your free Conservation Trees booklet, call the Arbor Day Foundation, toll-free. The foundation will help you plant and care for trees. And
the Texans have put 14 points on the board in the second quarter, a short 13-yard drive. Thanks to the interception of Rod Taylor, 5 plays, and a 21-0 lead.
Hope that doesn't discourage the Volunteers from trying to pass the football more. I think that they are going to have to put the ball in the air to have any success at all.
Danny Hammonds will kick off. Jonathan Horton has it at the 5. 15. And takes it out to the 21-yard line. So Jonathan Horton takes it back 16 yards. And Bowie has it for the 6th time in the first half.
John, it's critical that the Volunteers, of course, they want to score, but at least not give the Texans a football back and an opportunity to get another touchdown before the half. They need to keep it at 21 at least and try to go in and get 7 of their own.
And Jeremy Vaught taken down behind the line by Tito Medina. Medina upends Jeremy Vaught.
Sam Houston's leading tackler. Good size, 6 foot 200 pounds, very agile.
A loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. That's the secondary. That's how the Texans secondary looks if you're on the field. And number 42 fought, hit hard over the back by Frank Rogers, number 90. And now a timeout has been taken by Sam Houston. 2:10 to go in the half.
Sam with 2 more timeouts remaining. What they're trying to do is obviously force Bowie into another punting situation, want to get their hands on the pigskin again and try to go in and tack another 3 or 7 points on the board before intermission.
Well, a spirited bunch of volunteer cheerleaders haven't lost interest.
They're not camera shy.
The wind, which was blowing at about 30 miles an hour, and the rain as well, at about 7:15. Still out of the south, but not quite 30 miles an hour. Nathan DeVault wide left as the Volunteers face a 3rd and 7. Here's Fought. And the Texans still come to the ball as quick as ever and take another timeout.
And not only force the Volunteers to punt, but John, the snap back to Wall has been one over his head, one was skipped back to him, and the other one was about head high. So maybe Sam Houston put a little pressure on Wall and try to force that snap to go a little astray again.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more slipping. The Texans are so quick to the ball, they haven't lost a step at all. As if they have Velcro on the bottom of their cleats. They have adjusted well to this turf, which will be replaced next August. New turf put down around August the 1st. And Aaron Wall out again. Hits at the 45. Takes a Sam Houston roll of about 9 yards. And finally touched, and they call it dead at the 45-yard line.
Well, if you'll recall, Aaron Wall, his other 2 punts, they had that somewhat of a backspin on it, and it works okay if you're kicking deep into the opponent's territory, but that one hit at about around the 45-yard line of Sam Houston and spun all the way to the 45-yard line of Bowie.
A 20-yard punt. Hassel lacing up his right shoe. From the spread formation. Hassel pumps once, right sideline, going deep. And overthrows Mark Clayton, who was double covered. Still not got the shoe tied up secure enough.
There was a little separation, but Edwin Moore closed fast. Like Clayton was open there for just a second, but Moore gaining the ground.
Second and 10. Double receivers on either side. Hassel gets it off late on the option pitch. Shadania Mitchell covers it up.
Hassel hit,
third and long.
Excuse me, John. Hassel hit just as he was about to pitch out to Mitchell.
Third and about 13. A minute 11 left in the halftime. From the spread, Hassel trying to throw it back, will run it. And taken down near midfield.
Well, I'm surprised that Bowie hasn't called a timeout. And John, frankly, I thought that Bowie was offsides on this play, but no flag. Good pressure there. You see 46 come into the picture, Danny Schwab. I think the the Volunteers got a little bit of break there. I thought that they had jumped off sides.
Contact first by Brandon Lawson, and then Adam Karnoski helped out. All he did last week, 10 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 deflected pass. Adam Karnoski last week against DeSoto.
Volunteers have let about 22 seconds go off the clock where they could have called that timeout on the previous play. A strategy that the Texans had used when the Volunteers had the football just a moment ago, but now only leaves the Volunteers with 33 seconds to go before the half to try to get something going, and should get reasonable field position out of this, especially with a good return.
Interesting stat, both quarterbacks passing tonight, 1 of 8 for minus yardage and 1 interception. The Volunteers still have just 1 first down.
Well, Brandon Hassel could have had about a 75-yard touchdown pass. Didn't happen, so.
Fourth and 15. Clayton in motion, number 6. And they will punt it. And nobody back deep for the Volunteers. Hits at the 10, goes straight up at the 5, and near the goal line. Touched at the 1-foot line.
And John, the Volunteers are going to have to be very careful here. There is not much room at all. And they're in safety territory. And I bet this Texas defense will be looking to try to get that running back in the backfield here and try to get another 2 points.
A 49-yard punt. Deadened at the 1-foot line. 23 seconds left before intermission. I don't know if I'd risk a handoff. Just take it straight ahead. And he will. He's stacked up near the goal line.
And Sam Houston's calling their last